Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I'm your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's go ahead and dive right on in, shall we? Starting off with our game news topics of the day. Now, our first game news topic of the day is we have a 11 facts trailer for the game Altereds. Forgive me, I have company, so I still wanted to get this episode out, so you may hear some sounds in the background, so my apologies. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of this gameplay and some of these facts for the game, shall we?
Hi, I'm Alex Jordan, the voice behind all of Jan Dolsky's alterations, and this is 11 facts about the alters.
I do think this game looks quite interesting. It doesn't seem like a game for me necessarily, but I'm curious what you guys think of this. And
So many of us.
let me turn this down a little bit. And mind you, we can't go over all the facts, but we're going to look at some of this.
You take on the role of Jan Dolsky, a man forced to create alternative versions of himself in order to survive. These alters have skills that our hero lacks due to the different choices they made at crucial stages of their lives.
Hello, can anyone hear me? Jan Dolsky is the sole survivor of a space.
Now I'm curious, with that, does that mean like if you die, you take over the other people, or do you take control of these other people when you need certain tasks done, since you're kind of playing the same character, just different experiences? So I'm very curious how that's going to work out.
The planet you landed on is riddled with dangers. The biggest one being its giant radioactive sun. As the planet slowly rotates, deadly rays move forward, incinerating everything in their path. The only way to survive is to move forward.
I think this next one is the one that most everyone's interesting at, this mobile base.
Global base. This giant round-shaped structure can be expanded by useful additional modules. Yet without the help of his alters, Jan cannot operate this elaborate complex.
I think that looks pretty cool. I'm loving the way the base looks. I'm loving the way the base moves and that giant wheel. So that looks pretty cool. So this game does look pretty interesting. I'm not sure if it's going to be a game that I'll end up purchasing, but I am very interested in seeing what other aspects this game has as far as, gameplay mechanics, action-oriented things, because it seems more of a puzzle builder. There's not really a lot that I saw when I initially watched these 11 facts. So if you're more interested in finding out more, go ahead and check out the trailer in the description down below. I will have everything linked there if you guys are interested. So go ahead and check that out if you guys want to learn more regarding this game. Moving on to our next movie news topic of the day. We have the 20 minutes of the first 20 minutes of Shadow's Labyrinth gameplay. This comes to us from IGN. Now, I have not heard of Shadow's Labyrinth until I checked out a couple minutes of this footage. Now, this video is 20 minutes long. Obviously, it's the first 20 minutes. So we're going to skim through and check out things and see how things are looking. So go ahead and let me know what you guys think as we go along. Forgive me about the volume, guys. Again, I might have to pause here and there, do other things. We'll have to check it out. I'm going to skip ahead so we can get past, the tutorial and introductions and actually look at the gameplay itself. Okay, jumping ahead here. So that was the boss mech fight at the start of the game, and then has this cinematic, and then kind of cuts to you what the actual gameplay is going to be. Don't get me wrong, that is part of the gameplay. I'm sure you'll be able to take control of other things like that again, but this is what most of the gameplay is going to be right here. I'm digging the art style, liking the 2D vibes of it. It's 2D, but it looks 3D. I kind of like that art style. It's fun, entertaining art style. So this is you getting your first weapon of the game. Nice little sword you got here. Now let's skip ahead to another little boss fight here. Now, in my opinion, this game does look fun, but it's not my kind of game for some reason. I don't know what it is. Sometimes certain games that are 2D platformers like this just appeal to me, while like the Shinobi game coming out, whereas others just don't feel like they appeal to me or they're my kind of game. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. They have like a little Pac-Man esque mini game, and yeah, if you don't know, this is kind of in the Pac-Man world, if I'm not mistaken. So here's Pac-Man doing his thing. Go ahead and jump ahead a little bit. Yeah, I don't really know how it connects to Pac-Man itself, but it is a bit Pac-Man thing, I think. Anyways, what do you guys think of this trailer or this gameplay? Not for me personally. I do think it looks appealing. Like it's very art-wise, it looks great, but it's just not the type of game for me. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Will you be checking this game out? Does it interest you? Moving on to our next game news topic of the day. If you haven't heard, FBC Firebreaker is making some big changes due to some players leaving the platform after playing it just for an hour. This comes to us from IGN, who are talking about some of the games, and they've released back in mid-June. And they've made some major updates, but one of the big issues that they're coming across is player churn, which is basically players playing for like an hour and then stepping away. I think there's a bit of a learning curve for the first hour of the game, and they've noticed that a lot of the players aren't making it past that first hour of gameplay and just dropping off of interest. Maybe it's too little too confusing, a little too just not easily explained, I guess you can say. So it looks like they're going to be developing a better start and a better introduction tutorial level for the game so players can understand what is happening and hopefully capture the players' attention so they don't leave so easily. Which is a good thing. I don't necessarily think this is bad for any players or anything like that. They're also making changes to some of the gunplay. I guess the first initial weapons that you get just aren't powerful enough to have players continue to play and move forward like that. So they're going to be doing some buffing on the introductory weapons that you use as a player, and I think this is a good thing. It kind of, forgive me for the background noise, guys, but it kind of prevents play to win. I think initially, by the sounds of it, it was a bit play to win or pay to win. So you buy better weapons and things of that sort, and it help you further along in the game. And new players just were getting their probably asses handed to them and just not playing as well. So they definitely need this buff for the introductory weapons, which is good on their part. So I think good changes coming, and hopefully they continue to get player bases in with these new changes that they're going to make, because if they do not get new players and capture them, they're going to be another live service game that just falters. Moving on to our next topic of the day, we have not necessarily an update, but we've had a leak for the Blade game coming from Xbox, and the leak is talking about the budget of the Blade game, which is coming to $109 million USD. This article states that it's going to be 94 million euros. That's because this game is being developed by a European company, but translating that to the US dollars, it would be 109 million. And a lot of people are saying how this is a really high budget for a game of this standard and things like that. But I would like to compare this Blade game to the first Spider-Man game that came out from Insomniac. Now that first game cost about $100 million. So with this budget being $109 million, makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm not sure if the $109 million currently is the entirety of the budget from 2023 to 2026 for its entire development, or it's current where they're currently at as far as in the development. Because I do know this game is coming out in 2026, I believe. I'm not sure if it's early or mid or late, but if that's the case, then yeah, it's a bit of a high budget for, let's say they end it with 150 million before the game's released. It's a bit of a high budget, but it makes sense for games of this magnitude and this quality, especially if they're trying to compete with Insomniac's Spider-Man game. I think Spider-Man 1 cost about $100 million, somewhere around there, whereas Spider-Man 2 cost about $300 million, give or take. And so yeah, this is around the middle of the road. So I don't know why this is necessarily shocking news for some people. And again, this is also leaked information, so take everything with a grain of salt. We don't know their books, we don't know their back end, so it could be less, it could be more. Who knows at the end of the day? But I'm excited to check out what this game has to bring and what they have to offer after playing Marvel Rivals and things like that. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. Let's take a look at some of the art they got here for the game, which looks really cool. This art style, I don't know if this is concept art or if this is supposed to. Oh yeah, it's concept art. Oh thank God, because I didn't really like the way that this was looking for actual gameplay, but I'm liking it now that I know it's just concept art. Yeah, he looks so cool. They need to hurry up with the Blade movie. But yeah, here's some stuff so you guys could see. But yeah, that's our best update with the game. That it's probably looking at a 2026 release, and the budget's about $109 million. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think this budget's a bit high for a game like this? Do you think it's right in the middle of the road like I do? Forgive me, I didn't mean to click on that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And moving over to our last game news topic of the day, Ubisoft is in the news again, but this time hopefully with some better news. It looks like they are currently in development of a new Ghost Recon game, but this Ghost Recon will most likely go back to being first person as it was with the original Ghost Recon game release back in 2001. This one is going to be off the tails of Ghost Recon Wildlands and Ghost Recon Breakthrough, which were third-person games, with the option to kind of switch between first and third person depending on the player. So maybe this new game will be mainly first person with the option to switch to third person, but we'll have to wait and see. And the reason I think that they're doing this is because currently Ubisoft is developing Division 3, and the Division 3 is going to, of course, be third person game. So I think this is kind of them kind of making two different style games, one being focused third person only with Division, and the other one focusing more first person with Ghost Recon. And they do have a history of being first person game. They were doing a stakeholders meeting, and this is kind of where you got some of this information, dropped it from the CEO and the CFO, kind of dropped this information regarding the first person aspect of the Ghost Recon game coming out. So yeah, if you guys are interested in hearing more, go ahead and check out this article. I'll have linked in the description down below if you want a further breakdown of what exactly was said at this meeting. But yeah, that's generally the information that I wanted to give you guys. And I don't mind them doing first person. I think Ghost Recon as first person makes a lot of sense. And I like franchises that can change it up either to first or third person. I really don't mind either play style. And I do like games that provide you with both, kind of like Fallout. Fallout's a good example of that. While I don't think their third person's the best in Fallout, it is an option you can do, and I do enjoy that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And that does it for our game news topics of the day. Sorry guys, I'm flying through this. I do got company again, so forgive me. So let's go ahead and jump over to our movie news topics. First, let me take a drink, so excuse me for a second. And if you guys are wondering what I'm drinking water with a little bit of flavoring. That's all. So, moving over to our movie news topic, and our first movie news topic of the day is the Odyssey has sold out on its pre-order tickets for IMAX 70mm. However, they are now having, I guess you can say it's a bit of an issue with scalpers upcharging their tickets to about $200 per ticket, which is ridiculous. So they, again, the other day they recently released a tickets for 70mm for the Odyssey coming out next year on July 17th. So they accidentally sold out on almost all of them. If you were to go online and try to find tickets, you probably get neck breaker seats or anything of that sort, and completely sold out depending on where you are located. Me being in the California area, I didn't even try to purchase them, and they are completely sold out. And I think later in this article, they also mention a scalper upcharging about 400%. Yeah. And then they're trying to sell neck breaker seats. Yeah, right here, you can see it. But yeah, I think this is wild and crazy, and I think it's phenomenal that a movie like the Odyssey can be have tickets sold a year early and really get good fans interested in seeing what Christopher Nolan is doing and really making this an event film. You know, films aren't much of an event no more, and I only think certain movies can pull stuff like this off. I think James Cameron with the Avatars could pull it off. Of course, Marvel with the Avengers could pull something like this off, and Christopher Nolan himself. But I think more the IP for Marvel and Avatar at this point would sell that more as opposed to this. I think it's just the name Christopher Nolan is selling this ticket, so I think that's phenomenal. Congratulations to them, and hopefully scalpers stop being dicks, because that would be sad for people to go to the theater and the theater to be completely empty because scalpers didn't sell their tickets. And please don't buy scalper tickets; it is not worth it. You'll be able to see the movie in 70 millimeter the next day or the same day, depending if they have new time. So just please be patient. Don't buy from scalpers. That waste their money. Let them waste it. Moving on to our next movie news topic of the day. We had our Thursday previews yesterday with the release of I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I Know What You Did Last Summer did not do too bad, racking in $2.2 million on Thursday previews. If you don't know what Thursday previews are, so when movies are released on Fridays, usually that's their release date. But Thursday, you're allowed to start watching the movie midday towards midnight, end of the day, and those are included in Fridays and the weekend box office. But what they do call it is Thursday previews, and it's kind of like a nice little preview as to what we're going to see for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you see 2.2. Hopefully Friday you get a little more, probably around 5, and then Saturday, Sunday you can probably reach around 10. So this movie is probably looking to do about a $20 million opening weekend, give or take. We'll have to wait and see what ends up happening at the end of the weekend on Monday when I talk to you guys again. But I think this is a good preview for the movie of this budget. If I'm not mistaken, let's see, is this one it? Oh, with the model 18 million price tag. Yeah, so I think it's a 18 million, $17 million movie for the I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is really good. So it looks like they're going to be making the budget back for this initial weekend release for the movie, which I'm sure the studio is very excited about and very happy about. So yeah, and I'm going to be checking it out tonight with my brother. I remember when he's a big I Know What You Did Last Summer fan. We kind of grew up watching it together. So when I heard this movie was even being made, I told him, "You're going to be my date." So me and him have a date tonight, bros night. We're going to go be checking out I Know What You Did Last Summer. Moving on to our next movie news topic of the day. It looks like we're going to be getting a remake of Basic Instinct, or a reboot of Basic Instinct, coming to us from Amazon MGM. If you have not seen Basic Instinct, it's very famous for an interrogation scene with Sharon Stone, where you see a very intimate part of a lady, which was not supposed to be done, I guess. And yeah, so I'm interested if they're going to even include that in the next film, or if they're going to try to push past that. But that is very famous for that aspect of the movie, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. It is not only a good thriller, but it's a good performances from not Michael Keaton, what's his name? Michael Douglas and Sharon Stone, of course. But the most interesting part of this story is that we have the original writer for Basic Instinct returning to write this new script. So I'm curious, as right here, we have this gentleman right here who's going to return to write the script. So I'm curious as to how that's going to play out. And I think that's really cool, having a writer return to rewrite a script that he originally worked on, because maybe he didn't like certain things, maybe he can change certain aspects of the film. And if you guys are curious some other things that he has worked on, I pulled up his IMDb right here. So if you guys are interested in seeing some other project, he worked on Flashdance screenplay, Judge's Edge, What else has he worked on? Basic Instinct right here. Excuse me. Oh, Showgirl. I didn't know he worked on that one. So while he's not the best known writer, I do think it's very interesting. He does have some very good projects that he has worked on, and a lot of unknown ones for me. Maybe you guys know these movies better than I do, but it is cool seeing him return for Basic Instinct. I think he could really improve on what he did back in the '90s. You know, now that it's been like what 30 some odd years later. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Moving on to our next movie news topic, and probably my most exciting news for today. As you saw in our opening screenshot here, we are going to be getting another Judge Dredd movie coming to us from Taika Waititi, which I had in the bottom right corner there. Taika Waititi is set to direct a new Judge Dredd movie. Now, there's not a lot of details here in this article. It's just letting us know that they are shopping around the movie to find a home with a studio, and it's going to be worked on by Drew Pearce. He's known for Fall Guy, Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation. I think Rogue Nation's probably his best movie. Fall Guy's not best movie, but I think it's good. I'm excited to see a Judge Dredd movie. My hopes is that they decide to make it a sequel to Carl Urban's Dredd, only because that movie I think is underrated and it was not marketed very well back in 2012 when it came out. And I think Carl Urban deserves another shot as Dredd. He did a phenomenal job in that movie, and I love the Dredd movie, and they could really expand on this franchise. I know they probably want to make it a little more comic book fantastical accurate and stuff like that, so maybe they will end up doing that. My biggest fear though for this movie is Taika Waititi himself. Now, I think the movie he's done has been great. Jojo Rabbit was phenomenal. Thor Ragnarok was great. Thor Love and Thunder, not so good. While I enjoyed it overall, some of the humor was a bit much and a bit wonky. So I don't think Taika Waititi's humor really fits the world of Judge Dredd. Now, mind you, I haven't read a Judge Dredd comic since I was probably a teenager. I probably got to pick those back up again. But from my recollection, it was more of a serious comic with some. I mean, there was a funny character in there. I can't remember his name, but it was more of a serious take on a comic book character. So I'm hoping that he pulls back on his comedy, you know, inputs, and he really just focuses on making more of a serious Judge Dredd movie like the Dredd movie was with Carl Urban. And if Carl Urban is returning, oh my god, I would be absolutely ecstatic, and I will be the first in line and hyping this movie up as it gets further into development. But let me know what you guys think. Are you excited to see a new Judge Dredd movie like I am? Are you hoping for the return of Carl Urban? And are you afraid of Taika Waititi's comedy inputs on a movie like Judge Dredd, where it should be a little more serious? Let me know what you guys think. And moving on to our last movie news topic of the day. If you have not heard, Peacock is currently making a prequel to Friday the 13th as a TV series, with the TV series called Crystal Lake. And we finally have our casting for Jason Voorhees in forgive me, I'm gonna pronounce his name right, Colum Vinson. We'll go ahead and take a look at him right here. He's about 10 years old, and I do think it's really cool that they're going to be bringing in Jason Voorhees. Now, if you haven't heard anything, I believe this is starring Linda Cardellini. If you don't know who she is, she played Velma in the Scooby-Doo movie. Forgive me with the noise in the background again. But she's going to be playing Pamela Voorhees, who, if you have not seen the original Friday the 13th, I highly recommend you watch it without me saying this. So if you're going to watch it and you don't want spoilers, move on. But Linda Cardellini is playing Pamela Voorhees, who was the original killer in Friday the 13th, not Jason Voorhees, as everyone is mistaken or gets confused by. He came in the second Friday the 13th after Pamela died, and he witnessed it, and it brought him back to life and all that crazy shenanigans that happens in the Friday the 13th movie, with the Jason being a zombie-esque character and stuff like that. But anyways, I do think this is exciting that we're getting in further development, and I am happy they are bringing in a Jason Voorhees character. It's going to be very sad and very, it's going to be an interesting aspect of Pamela Voorhees that we didn't capture before, because we're going to see her son being teased, her son being neglected, her son passing away, and then watching her want vengeance on these camp counselors. So this is going to be a very interesting aspect of the story that we never kind of seen before. I mean, we did see flashbacks and we did see certain things of that aspect, but actually living in the character and probably rooting for Pamela to actually kill these camp counselors is going to be very interesting, because I guarantee you, if I see someone getting bullied in this way and then the mother goes and gets her vengeance, go for it. You know, it's almost like a John Wick-esque type of movie. Forgive me, I had to get quiet there. People were talking really loud. I'm not sure if you guys could hear it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for this series? Now, I'm not a big on watching shows and series, but I'm probably going to check this one out because I'm curious what they're going to do. And I love Linda Cardellini. I think she's an underrated actress, and she always does phenomenal work. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Yeah, and that's a wrap for today's episode of the Truly Odd Podcast, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And always remember, guys, stay true, be odd.